Hey, this is Carl with Fly Fishing Benefactors. I have often gotten emails and phone calls trying to understand what these things right here are that we send along with our line kits and we refer to as loop connectors. And most people kind of generally get the concept, but in most cases don't really understand how it really works. So this is a medium loop connector, and we have them designed specifically to fit our 5-weight line. They will fit other lines from other manufacturers. You just have to try them out. But you'll notice there's this clear collar here. I try to pull that collar as far forward as I can when I want to make an install on a loop connector. And once you have that collar up there pretty tight toward the loop, you can go back down here toward the end of the loop connector and find the tail. At which point, this is the toughest part of the whole process right here, is trying to get the line into the loop connector from this end over here. In my case, I need cheaters to be able to do this. But once you get the line actually into the loop connector, you may require some trimming. I don't necessarily agree with some people's ideas of making a sharp point on the fly line, because that eventually gets caught up inside the loop connector. But essentially, once you get the line inside the very end of the loop connector, you push on this end. If you're right-handed, I use the fly line in the right hand. You can do it the other way. But I push and make you see the loop connector bulge a little bit, and when it bulges, I feed the fly line in. And I continue to inch the fly line up into the loop connector. And as you see, I've made reasonable progress so far. This is about a 5-minute job typically, if you don't run into any snags. But you continue to push the fly line up into the loop connector, and when you push it forward, you can pinch the fly line and then kind of pull back on the loop connector. Now I've gotten about this much in. And as you proceed, you continue to massage the loop connector, squish it to open it, push the fly line forward. This kind of is like a Chinese handcuff, if you remember those as kids. Put your fingers in them. When you try to pull your fingers out, the Chinese handcuffs would catch them. And that's the same principle of the loop connector, is when the line gets yanked on, it creates tension inside the loop connector and actually causes it to stay. The collar that you saw a moment ago, which we'll get back to in just a little bit, also has some effect on the process. My collars are not heat shrink, so I'll give you my little tip when I get toward the end. As you can see now, I've got the loop connector pretty much on to the line, and I try very hard to get the fly line as far into the loop connector as I possibly can. The reason we do this is this is a much more economical way to put a loop-to-loop connection on the end of your line to a fly leader. Now, we already made a video on how to tie a loop into the butt of your leaders, so now we're showing you how to put the loop connector onto the line. I kind of thought it was a given, but I've been told that there's a lot of people out there that don't really know how to do this. Okay, so now I've got the fly line all the way up the loop connector to the base of the collar. So at this point, I take the collar, I hold the line, and I usually use my fingernails to grab the lead end of the collar, and I pull it, and I stretch it across, and I get it to a point where it intersects the actual loop connector and the fly line. So you cover up the frayed part. See, the end of the loop connector is all frayed right there. As I come over and cover it, you'll notice now that the connector is over the line over here and over the line loop connector here. At this point, I put 1 drop of super glue right here and 1 drop of super glue right here, so it kind of seals this particular collar to the line and to the line and the loop connector. And at this point, you have a loop connector established to the end of your fly line. And that's how you put a loop connector on a fly line. I hope this video helped you. Thanks.